Hey, welcome back to the Greater You. Good to be with you guys today. So today we are talking about a delicate balance between work and play. Oftentimes in the wintertime, we'll take off and head somewhere south to warmer weather to go mountain biking and hiking and doing just things in the outdoors, rock climbing at times, some of those different things. Even just walks on bike paths down south sometimes really clears the mind in the middle of winter. Fortunately, we're rounding the bend. Spring is on around the bend, but I think this is a very important thing to think about, this balance between work and play. I've got a few thoughts here that I've put here before you to think about. Finding that equilibrium between work and play, that's pretty challenging. Clearly, work is, we don't view work as a four-letter word. We don't view work in the greater you as something bad. In fact, we view work as an opportunity to help and to give back. Obviously, our entire company is built on helping folks such as you guys to find your best life and create your best life. And that's so rewarding. However, there's a time where we'd have to hang up the work coat, so to speak, and go play, right? And this is pretty crucial. When we add play in, the work in positive psychology shows that play adds into that upward spiral that we've talked about in previous videos. It opens up opportunities for creativity, gives our brain rest from its kind of typical rhythm that we've been doing. When we're in a really hard work phase, you're really taxing your gray matter big time. And play gives us a chance to kind of chill out from that, let our brain get renewed, soak up some sun, or even just take some extra naps when you're on vacation or whatever. So finding the balance between the two, though, is pretty tough. We found it with our coaching, a number of challenges face people. One is the fear of not making enough money, so they're perpetually working out of a place of fear. That's a huge one. I've felt that. Many people have felt that. And so sometimes we back off on giving ourselves breaks for play because of the fear of missing out on opportunities to make money, right? Well, if your desire to work is just to make money, you're probably going to feel pretty purposeless anyway. Money is a tool, and if you're not, seeking that tool to do meaningful things that are tied to your values, the pursuit of money is like an endless, black hole that's never enough, right? But then obviously the pursuit of play all the time would cause us to, lack balance as well. How many people have we seen? It's been interesting over the years. I've definitely worked with some people that have been the recipient of trust funds from wealthier parents or relatives that made it so they didn't have to work. And those folks that I've had the privilege of working with, they found that they want to work. Their happiness really depends on it. So obviously just playing all the time is not a thing either, or it's a thing, but it's not going to be helpful. It's not going to be good for our well-being, because play is supposed to be a renewing experience to get our minds and our bodies and our brains kind of reset so that we can get back to work and be productive. So it's the balance between the two. What's the ratio here that we're looking for? Probably not a 50-50 ratio. I mean, if you can pull that off, that might be pretty cool. If any of you guys have been able to cut your life up to where you can work half the time and play half the time, let me know how that's impacting your well-being. I suspect, though, that the people that I've worked with over the many years, there's a balance, but the balance is a bit more work than there is play, right? An easy way to think about it is, when we have a 24-hour period where you've got sleep and all the necessities of life and work and all that stuff, if you can carve out like an hour to work on a hobby, sit down and jam on your acoustic guitar after work for an hour, you worked maybe a 7, 8, 9, 10-hour workday, and you can carve in a half hour to an hour of, jamming on your guitar. That's probably a pretty good balance between the two. I think what we're more likely to see is people that just skip play altogether and then maybe, feel that burnout that comes from never really giving their mind a break. So think about play differently too. Sometimes it's recreation, sometimes play is relaxation, sometimes it's pursuing hobbies, but it's whatever it is, it needs to feel renewing to you. So you really get to define what that is for you. A 15-minute power nap mid workday might feel like that revitalization, although that's definitely, not necessarily play, but it's definitely rest and can be renewing. Could it be that you carve in 15 minutes to call a buddy and just talk to them on your lunch break and, crack each other up, making dumb dad jokes or something like that? So I don't think it always has to be a huge, big thing, but I do think the balance between the two requires us to be mindful and thoughtful in how much work am I putting into my life and how much play. I think frequently about some of the hospice surveys that come out, and you can look these up. They're very interesting. They ask people that have been there, done that, and that are now kind of in that very end of their lives on hospice, awaiting their opportunity to cross over to the other side. And they'll do these surveys and they'll ask, like, hey, well, any regrets? What did you look back on with fondness? Is there anything you wish you would have done more of, less of? And in the last set of those surveys I read, I don't recall anyone ever saying that they wish they would have worked more. Most of these people say, I wish I would have played more. They do say things like, I wish I would have spent more time with family and friends. Wish I would have traveled more, done some enjoyable things more. Most of them say they wish they would have worked a little bit less. So there's definitely balance issues between work and play. Think about ways to create a little more balance in your life. I'm not suggesting the 50-50. That sounds a little pie in the sky to me. And honestly, maybe you'd feel a little unproductive if 50% of your life was spent in leisure activities. My guess is if you've got the financial means to do that, where you can work a 50% work week or half of a work week, you would carve up that other half into philanthropy and other meaningful things that really do improve people's well-being significantly. Not only those that you're serving, but those that serve also get a huge boost in their well-being. So remember that life is not just about accomplishing your professional goals, but also about experiencing joy, pursuing your passions, savoring precious moments in life. I was on a bike ride just a few days ago, overlooking the desert, and you could see some snow-capped mountains off in the distance. And I was kind of in this part of the trail where there was this overhang of rock that the trail went underneath, and there was some desert scape, and then it kind of stepped all the way up to this, 9,000-foot peak that had snow on it. And just sitting there and drinking that scene in for a couple of minutes was really wonderful for my own mind. And that's a moment of renewal and play, right? Where I was taking a break from work and giving myself a chance to play. So look for that balance. Let us know in the comments below what's worked for you in creating that balance. I think probably one of the core issues that you may want to hire a coach to really work through is if the fear of not getting your finances where they need to be, or just not working enough or not accomplishing enough, is stopping you from allowing any play into your life, that probably is something to look at. We don't really recommend fear being a long-term motivator, as fear has a tendency to raise your stress levels, cortisol levels over time. Isn't not the most healthy thing for your body, or all of your systems of your body. So we do recommend working to shift your motive to a place of love and joy and values and passions, and like the principles that you live by. Those really need to be the motivators for work and for play. All right, guys, it was great to spend some time with you. Like this video if you liked it. Share some comments. Let us know what your thoughts are on this balance between work and play. Obviously, we have more content to come. We'll talk to you in the future. It was good to spend time with you today. Have a great one.